let me try to say this. I don't care about the return. So the name of the method is just P. Okay, so return a void. Say it's public or anything, right? So this is a name, and then start from here and then from here. The first thing we do is call P itself. And afterwards we print a letter P. Once you finish here, you return print the letter P. So my question is, what is the output for this method? Okay, so
it just times out.
Yeah, so it just gets stuck. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't show anything. Of course, it does a lot. It just say, once you get in there, you call P, right? You call P. You're not there print yet. You call P and then you go back here again. Then that means you actually do all these calling method. I talked about this before. The computer will prepare a stack. Okay, so the current environment, all these whatever variables we have, and then just save here, and then go to the call function there. Basically, this is the same method, and then call that once you get in here, you call that P again. You do this again, right? You call another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer. So you never reach anything like a finish line, right? So you're never printing anything. Then you take up enough all of your memory, and then you crash. Okay, the program crash. Okay, so that's what happens. Okay, so this is because you do P before you do anything. So now let's do this. I'm going to print the letter P first. Oops, don't want to do this. Right, so print the letter P first. Let me actually erase the thing before that. And then I will call this P afterwards. Right, after you print the letter P, you call this P method. So then this time what's going to happen? Just reverse, just switch the order of these two lines. What do you think?
You still time out because you don't have a base case.
You don't have a base case. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a base case, and I don't even have a smaller problem to solve. It's the same problem. It's the same thing to call. So you call it, and then notice this time, you actually execute the print first. So the P letter is printed. You print the letter P, and then afterwards, you're calling this method again. So you go into the method again, you print this P again. So now this time you keep printing the P, okay? Print a lot of this letter P. And then you print forever, and then until, again, you're still adding things to the stack and doing layer after layer after layer. So you use up all the memory and it crash. So that's what happens. Okay, so I think I talked about this before when we actually doing actually analyzing the actual problems in the exams. So I say this is like a story when we learned when we were little. Like when I was little, it actually the bigger brothers tell us stories, or sisters or parents. The story about once upon a time there was a mountain. Inside the mountain there was a temple. In the temple there was a monk who was telling a story. So what is the story about? The story is like this. Once upon a time, there was a mountain. Inside the mountain, there was a temple. In the temple, there is a monk who is telling a story. So what was that story? So the story like this. Once upon a time, there's a mountain. In the mountain, there was a temple. There was a temple. In the temple, there was a monk who was telling us. You keep going forever. It can keep going, keep going. Yeah, so yeah, it was fun. When you were little, you know, those kind of things are fun. But then it's just exactly like this, okay? So you don't have an end. Then you use up all the memory. And then, so there are two things, okay? So two things have to be true for this to stop, for this to solve a real problem. One thing is that you have to have a base case. Another thing is you have to, each time you call again, you have to solve a different problem, hopefully a smaller problem, closer to the base case. All right, so eventually this smaller and smaller problem becomes a base case and you don't have to call it again. You don't have to call this again. So this is two basic requirement, but then it's a little bit tricky, right? So because have the you have to have the general idea of how this thing will work out. Then you go to you'll be able to follow this, right? So some of the in the exam, the questions will be like this. Okay, you are given a recursive method, and then it's called the mystery method, right? So you say, okay, what does this mystery method print out? That one, you have to be able to follow it, right? So, then you have to understand what this thing is doing, right? So it could be, yeah. So like things like this, it's easier to see because you're just adding up the squares. But if you are involved in some more of these other methods, like you're handling a string. So you're taking a substring somewhere and then print out something in a different order. You have to figure out what order it is. That's going to be tricky, right? So because you need to understand the other things, right? So in this